This is Wanda Jackson.
This is Tanya Tucker.
This is Lucinda Williams, and you are listening to the sexy, soulful Mojo Nixon.
Mojo Nixon is my kind of man.
He is a real outlaw.
On Sirius XM.
Outlaw.
Mojo Nixon here from Sirius XM. Outlaw Country. Brothers and sisters, friends of the revolution, we are on the Outlaw Country Cruise number 6 in the big theater with a live audience. My guests today are San Diego cowpunk legends, the Beat Farmers. The greatest thing to come out of San Diego since the aircraft carrier. On stage, left to right, Raleigh Love, bass, vocals, and looking good. Joey Harris, guitar, vocals, and inspired lunacy. Down there is Joel Bongo Kamak, drums, vocals. He went to high school with Country Dick. Speaking of Country Dick, there's 2 Beat Farmers not here with us today. They've moved on to the great beyond. The legendary Country Dick Montana, the man that brought the band together, the original drummer. The Country Dick was a mountain of a man who was a entertaining genius. And some of y'all out there go, yeah, Mojo, we did drugs with Country Dick, and we made out with Country Dick. And Country Dick died in 1995. He's not here in person, but he's here in spirit. Also, original Beat Farmer guitar player Buddy Blue. He was in a band with Raleigh called the Rockin' Roulettes. He was a hell of a rockabilly and a hillbilly guitar player and singer. And Buddy Blue passed away in 2006. Friends, brief aside here. There is no Mojo Nixon without the Beat Farmers. You know, I'd still be Kirby McMillan if it wasn't for the Beat Farmers. The Beat Farmers gave me a helping hand. They let me sleep on their floor. They let me open up for them 1,000 times. I owe my entire career to the greatness of San Diego's greatest rambunctious root rockers. Let's hear it for all the Beat Farmers. I'm sucking y'all pretty hard.
You got me tearing up over here, Mojo.
Go ahead, Mojo.
I want to make sure y'all got that. So let's start with Jerry Rainey. I think it was 1982, but in the early 80s, Country Dick came to you and said he had an idea for a band. What did he say?
Yeah, well, I was there at the last Crunchy Dick, and the Snuggle Bunny.
Dick.
Yeah, Crunchy Dick. That was.
Got a scab on me. Oh wait, we'll edit that out later.
Yeah, that's like Country Dick in the studio after we'd stopped the song. He says, "Oh, we'll fade out now." But yeah, I'd witnessed the last Country Dick and the Snuggle Bunny show, which Joey was in that band, and a number of people. It was kind of the predecessor to the Beat Farmers, kind of the same idea. And he just got finished doing, You Took a Fine Time to Leave Me, Lucille, with those guys. And he was standing up on a table at Bodie's, place we used to play there. He's standing up on a table with a beer, of course, and a microphone. And he's getting to the end of the song. It's like, you picked a fine time to leave me, bunnies. Don't leave me, bunnies. And he face plants off the top of a table. You know, the microphone hits the floor. Beer's all over the place. He's laying down there going, "Don't leave me, bunnies. Don't leave me." So anyway, I went up to him after the show and just went, that was pretty damn cool. You know, that was really fun. And I think that, you know, a lot of people are getting signed by MCA out of San Diego. A lot of the bands were getting signed. And I said, but out of all those people that are getting signed, I really think you have a better chance of making it. You know, you're really entertaining, and this is cool. You know, and then I just walked off because I had a band called The Shames, and we'd recently broken up, and he knew it. So about a week after that, I get this phone call from Country Dick. It's Rainey. I'm going, yeah. And he goes, want to start a musical mobile pleasure unit? Okay, that sounds good, buddy. Who's going to play drums? Well, I am. Who's going to sing all the songs? Well, I am. No, he didn't want to sing all the songs. He just wanted to be a regular band, and he wanted to be the drummer, and he just wanted to jump up and do his little ditties when he wanted to do them. And luckily, there was always a couple of us that could play a little bit of drums. I could play a little bit, and Buddy Blue could play a little when he was in the band, and so could Joey when he was in the band. So, that all worked fine. But that's how it started.
I remember I begged Country Dick to be in the Beat Farmers, and he finally, in a very sober moment, said, "There's only room for one monkey in this show, and I'm it. Go do your own damn thing."
Another funny thing about that, too, is like Buddy Blue, he wanted me to, we were checking out other people to be in band because it was just Dick and me at that point, and so he goes, "Okay, I want you to come to Bodie's and watch this band called the Rockin' Roulettes," and Buddy Blue and his guys, and he's got a bunch of cool original songs. And so he takes me over there, and then later on I find out from Buddy Blue that, Dick had told him that there was this record producer from L.A. coming down to check him out and to play all of his originals and make sure the show went cool, So I was the record exec. I didn't realize that, and then his old band, the Penetrators, he was still in the Penetrators. They were in the process of kind of becoming, I don't know what they were doing, but it seemed like they were getting ready to break up. And I thought they were already breaking up. And so I'm standing there by the bar, and the Penetrators were at the bar. And I didn't think anything of it. It's like Dick's going, "Well, what do you think?" And I said, "Yeah, he's good. We should get him. That's cool. He writes all these great songs." He goes, "Shh, the Penetrators are at the bar. Don't you be careful what you say." So anyway, he snuck around and did the whole thing, really. It was like a lot of tomfoolery and trickery on his part. So
Raleigh was in the Rockin' Roulettes with Buddy Blue. Tell us about the Rockin' Roulettes and how Country Dick, came to you, Raleigh.
Broke up the band? How he destroyed us?
Right. So, and originally he just wanted Buddy. Right?
Yeah. And
so you were mad. You were.
Well, yeah. It was my dream was smashed at that point. No, and Buddy told me, he said, "You better play really good tonight because there's record people in the audience." But he didn't tell me it was just for him. It's all this stuff going on.
Are you saying a bunch of musicians are a bunch of liars and cheaters and swindlers and hornswogglers?
Yes, sir. But the funny thing about the Beat Farmers was they had a bass player. And the guy, I guess, went to one rehearsal and decided he had enough. He wasn't going to do it. And so they asked me to come in and just practice with them. And so, I was playing upright bass, and I wheeled down on my bicycle with this giant bass and tried to get over there and got there, and we played along. And then the next day I said, "Can you come by and practice with the this went on and on and on. I was never actually told I was in the band. It was just Raleigh, the bass player, So, yeah, that's how it started.
How old was he then?
19. I was 19, yeah.
Child.
Just a kid.
You don't even play him for like a year or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. This was all brand new. I learned about these guys through a person that cut my hair, this Debbie Scott. You remember Debbie Scott? She was
that bitch?
Hair, yeah. She says, yeah. I know this guy, Buddy Blue. You should go hang out with him. And then it just went crazy from there. And we got the apartment out in North Park, and Tommy.
Well, and me and Raleigh lived together. Now, we were remembering that if you slept in the bedroom, it was $100 a month. If you slept on the couch, it was $50 a month. But if you slept on the cot in the kitchen, $25 a month.
That was a punk rock pad. For sure.
So that had that spray painted.
Devil
logo.
Lied to Me. Yeah.
Yeah, the Devil Lied to Me was spray painted over the kitchen door. Apparently, Raleigh had done that sometime in the night, right?
Yeah, Tommy, my other roommate, Tommy, we put him up against the wall and spray painted around him. So it was like a dead body against the wall. And then spray painted Devil Lied to Me
all those
over
years later, when Country Dick did his solo record, he called it The Devil Lied to Me. And I don't think he ever
stole
credited
that. No,
he never credited
he
you for
made
it.
that up, right?
He was a stealing motherfucker.
A little bit of a thief. A little bit. Tiny
Yeah, a
bit.
little bit.
So, Joey, you were in Country Dick and the Snuggle Bunnies. Tell us about how that related to the Beat Farmers.
Right. Well, the Snuggle. Well, Dan McLean, who would become Country Dick Montana, was in a very successful band in San Diego called the Penetrators. The Penetrators were coming apart somehow, and he started to do some shows where he was the leader of the band, and no one had ever heard him sing before, and that I knew of anyway. And so I went to a show. He had a band with 2 drummers, 2 bass players, 3 guitar players, 5 horn players who couldn't play, and a drunken choir. And he came out in a gold lame jacket and Ray-Bans and sang, you picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille, I think it
Right.
was. Yeah.
This is the Big MR show.
The
right?
Big MR, that's right. He called himself the Big MR and his all bitchin' all stud band.
And it was kind of like Elvis on acid.
It was Elvis, definitely Elvis on acid. But the voice, I was so blown away by the voice, I fell backwards off my stool, and the entire audience was agog, just saying, oh my goodness. And so I knew this was going to be something in all of our futures somehow, that he was going to be an entertainer. He called me like he called Jerry, a year or so later, and said he wanted to put together a country western band. He said, bring along your friend Paul Kamansky, who was my high school buddy, and we'd written songs together as teenagers. And that became Country Dick and the Snuggle Bunnies. And we did Hank Williams tunes, really fast, and played all the punk clubs, and it was just a blast. And we sang Everly Brothers songs, and of course, a bunch of Paul Kamansky's tunes, were sort of developed there.
Right, and for those who don't know, Paul Kamansky's kind of the secret songwriting genius of the Beat Farmers, who wrote, he wrote Bigger Stones and Hollywood Hills and what
California
else? Did he write?
Kid.
California Kid, absolutely.
Road of Ruin. I want to play Road of Ruin when we play a song. That's
Yeah,
the song
Road of Ruin.
That's the song I want to play when we play a song.
Okay,
You mean today?
Hang on, wait. It's
I
not, who's in charge up here anyway? After I gave y'all all my personal hand jobs, you're just rebelling on me.
Mine kind of hurt.
Okay. That's probably the crunchy dick. Yeah.
The Crunchy Dick.
So wait, but you weren't there when the Beat Farmers started, Joey, because you would. Well, tell us where you were. What you were
Right,
doing.
I had before the Country Dick and the Snuggle Bunnies thing happened. I had gone to Australia, and under the invitation of a publishing company down there, and written some songs for Australian artists, and it was out of the blue. It was fun. Some guy who had seen me perform with my group before that, and it was a terrific experience. We spent from midnight to 7 o'clock in the morning working at the EMI studio in Sydney. And we ended up with what would become Joey Harris and the Speedsters, an album that was released on MCA. But I had to wait around for all kinds of shenanigans. And in the meantime, I was invited to join the Snuggle Bunnies. So as the Snuggle Bunnies were kind of reaching their popularity zenith, I said zenith, I had to leave to go promote the Speedsters record, and Country Dick did not like that.
Now, Joel, why don't you tell us? You knew Country Dick in high school, right?
Yes, I
you
did.
You knew him. Y'all were buddies way back.
Yeah, the first time I saw Dan was about, I think, 1970. I was in 8th grade. I came home from school, and my brother was in a band with him, and there was Dan in the middle of my living room beating the shit out of his drums. I mean, he was hitting harder than anybody I'd ever seen. But I was a drummer, too, so I thought I was pretty good. But, man, that guy was beating the crap out of him. So, yeah, he liked my house because my parents were a little liberal, and they'd let him, smoke pot and drink beer, and he loved that. His parents were kind of more conservative,
straight.
Obviously.
They were a little more straight.
Yeah, my dad loved Dan, I think, more than he loved me. He called him Big Dan, and he played piano at that time. See, when I was in high school, I was in a band with Dan called Queenie, and when Queen came out, we go, oh, well, there goes that idea. But
you had a big idea.
Yeah, and he quit playing the drums, and I became the drummer, and he played piano. So that's why when he was the Penetrators drummer, it surprised me because he told me, I'm done with the drums. I hate them. You play the drums, I'll play piano. So he would always play our family's piano, and he'd be smoking a cigarette, and he'd put it down on the piano. It was an upright grand. That piano had so many burns, We had it in our family just up until about 4 years ago. We sent it to our niece in Texas, but it was always a little, just looking at those burns all these years later, it was like Dan was in the house with us still. Yeah.
One of the things, it's hard to imagine, one, how big Country Dick was. He's physically big. He was big. He was tall. And he also had cowboy boots on and a cowboy hat and a duster, which made him look bigger. Yeah. And then he has this, especially on stage, he has this giant personality. It's as if Godzilla's coming to your house.
He broke all our furniture. I mean, I'm going to go, why are my parents getting upset? He broke one chair. I'm like, oh, great. Then the next chair. I mean, these are nice, chairs my parents brought from Chicago. And he broke every one of them. But that's Christ. It's just Dan. It's a big Dan. Don't worry about it.
He broke a lot of things. We were out on the road.
And when Jerry was talking about seeing him he would stand on a table. So not a table this high, but a regular bar table. He would stand on it, balance on one foot, with his head almost hitting the fan above him, while drinking a beer and singing the song. It was, hey.
To get up on the table, he would kick everybody's drinks off into their lap. That's the thing, and they would be cheering.
No, it was like seeing the human cannonball, except he didn't have the cannon. It was unfucking believable.
So it's like one time we were playing in the outskirts of Chicago. I can't remember the name of the club or anything like that, but they had the biggest disco ball that I'd ever seen in my life. It was, like 6 or 8 feet across, and it was just this huge disco ball. And he's standing on a table. His head's really close to it. The place is packed. He goes, I wonder what happened by your headbutted that cannonball. Ha ha! I headbutted that disco ball, and then he headbutts and the thing falls. Hits the dance floor. People are jumping out of the way. He hits the dance floor. Breaks into a million pieces like it's some Christmas ball over a Christmas tree or something, And I was going, man, I wonder how much that thing cost. Are we going to get any money tonight, But they didn't charge us anything. The place was packed. People, they broke the bar record, all that kind of stuff. So he escaped again,
Right, that was one of the things. The Beat Farmers caused a lot of chaos. They also sold a lot of booze.
Yeah.
People came and got drunker than 100 monkeys, right?
Yeah, we broke bar records almost every place.
We had to wrap the monitors in plastic. I mean, the beer was flying everywhere.
Yeah, really. The PA system guys, because we didn't travel with our own PA system. We'd use the PAs at the clubs, and so we'd come in there and our road crew would start putting plastic over their monitors and all that stuff. And they're going, what's going on? They're going, well, a lot of beer is going to hit this stage,
How about the hay you guys used to take with you, too, the hay bales?
Yeah,
they hated that. They hated
when
that.
we first started, we used to have, we'd get 4 bales of straw. And we'd put them on the stage, and we'd, right in front of us, and we'd be stomping on them and all this kind of crap and chewing on the hay. And so when we released our first album, we went up to L.A., went up to Hollywood, and played this fancy place on the Sunset Strip called Club Lingerie. So we're doing a record release party there. It turned out to be a pretty cool night, but we brought those hay bales with us, and pretty soon there was hay going back behind the bar and, all over the floor and into all the bathrooms and out the front door and onto Sunset Boulevard, and in our dressing room with these 2 guys playing guitars and singing. It was Dave Alvin and Dwight Yoakam. And Dwight Yoakam really wasn't a star yet. He was bubbling around in the L.A. area. And
hey, let me jam with you guys. Let me jam with you.
Yeah. So they're in there playing these things. And we're going, yeah, I'd never met him before. And I'm like, I knew Dave, but I didn't know him. And I was like going, this guy's a pretty dang good singer. And they're singing all these country songs and messing around. So when we got an encore, we actually played the thing. I think we were the first band that actually decided that when we had a record release party that we were going to play at it, because it's always a hoity-toity event where they would, up in L.A., where they'd have food and they would just play your album on a stereo or something. And it was a bunch of, record label people all talking to each other.
Music business assholes, yeah.
Yeah, so we turned it into something else. We actually brought a bus. We rented a bus and brought our fans with us, and called it the Mondo Express. Brought a bunch of bikers with us and stuff, and so it's all happening at this place. But anyway, when we got our encore, we just brought up those 2 guys, Dave and Dwight, with us, and did about 6 songs and just told Dwight to sing every one of them, and that's how we ended the night. It just turned out to be a pretty damn bitchin' night, yeah.
We're here on the Outlaw Country Cruise. I'm Mojo Nixon. I have the Beat Farmers on stage with me. Jerry, you said you wanted to play a song. Why don't you play a song for us, sir, Jerry?
So now I'm supposed to know songs?
Yeah. You got to remember the words and everything.
Oh, God. Come on, Joey, is your guitar on?
Yeah.
You're playing this too.
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Words upon words spoken in tongues stole all our dreams when we were young. Now that I'm older, I know dreams don't come true. But I got my songs, yeah, I got my girl. That's all I'll have when I leave this world. I thought by now you could show some concern. I just want to stay out tonight and dance with the girl till the world spins right. This is the road we're headed on. Drink after drink, is that all we've had? Yeah, I've grown up, yeah, I've grown mad. Given the time now, we're all gonna burn. But everyone passes you by. They all got that look in their eyes. They don't feel it, babe. They can't feel your hurt. I just wanna stay out tonight and dance with the girl till the world spins right. This is the road we're on. Take it, Joey. Play faster and more efficiently. I just want to stay out tonight and dance with the girl till the world spins right. This is the road we're on. This is the road we're on. Hey! Woo! Too much, baby. All right. Thank you.
The Beat Farmers live on the Sirius XM Cruise. So y'all made a couple of albums. You made the first album, second album. You're going out on tour. Things were going good, right?
Yeah, it seemed like it. Till we got out on tour.
Well, you were just talking about the beer flying everywhere. Didn't Country Dick have like a holsters for the beer?
Yeah, we had holsters and stuff.
Yeah, I had holsters to hold the beers. And then one of my greatest memories is Country Dick on a big stage like this would lay on his back and put the beer between his feet and drink it like a bear. And I'm like, I can't compete with that. That's showbiz. That's entertainment. Right. I am a stupid turd. That is that. What, I'm beating on a plastic water bottle? The guy's drinking a beer like a bear.
Well, what's funny about that, too, is that at least half of that beer made it into his mouth. You know, he was like, it's in between his boots, and I kept thinking, one of these days it's going to slip from his boots and hit him right in the teeth, but it never happened.
No.
And, good at that. And what happened? The whole spraying the beer. How did all that start?
Well, you know, we were kind of sloppy with the beer as the band first started.
Well, he would juggle the long necks, long necks.
Yeah.
He would flip them around and juggle them.
Where that actually started is the first time we went to Canada, and we were playing this club in Vancouver, and out of nowhere, Vancouver's a cool place, man. But out of nowhere, you know, we always had the beer, you know, holsters and all this kind of stuff, and we were always kind of sloppy with it, you know, but all of a sudden there was a bunch of people standing there with beers, you know, and they just started slinging them at us. Not the beers, just the beer.
Well, they weren't spraying it.
They weren't really spraying it. Some people would spray it, but they were mainly holding it up in the air and just kind of tossing it. And that was the first time we broke the bar record anywhere. So, we sold all the beer.
This is the town pump in Vancouver.
This was actually before we played the Town Pump. It was a place called the 86th Street Club, I think is what it was.
86th Street Hellhole, yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
well.
then the Town Pump stole us, and it was easy for them to do because the Town Pump is a great damn place, man.
So in the shows, you had the big, loud rock and roll. You had the sensitive songs, the country songs, and then Country Dick would get up and how would you describe that? Circus.
It was I always called him our secret weapon. Really, it's like it'd be like we would go on and we'd play 3 or 4 songs, and then it'd be like, okay, these guys are a good band, blah blah, etc. And then we'd kind of unleash him, and he'd walk out in the crowd and start doing all this crap, and people would be going, man, what the hell's going on? I want to party with this guy, And
Jerry, tell him about Ames, Iowa.
Okay, yeah.
How many stories are there about Ames, Iowa? Holy smokes!
It wasn't Ames. It was Des Moines.
Oh, yeah.
It started off pretty weird in Des Moines. It was the first time we ever went through there. And first off, there was this place where the road divided into like a V, and there was a little park there. And there was a facsimile of a big one of a bull and a cow and a calf. And so we're out there. I used to always like to take pictures of these facsimiles, usually with Dick on them, or something. And so we're out there jumping on these things, and people kept driving by going, "Get off the cows!" We're going, "What's with these?
They got really
people?
angry.
You know what? Who cares? They're just fake cows. It's not like we're out there torturing some cow, And, anyway, it just kept getting weirder and weirder, And so we get to this club that we're playing at, and it doesn't have a backstage. You have to use the office for the backstage, which was all the way diagonally across where the stage was, And first off, the weirdest thing is they had a white reggae band open for us. And then so we're walking. This was when Buddy Blue was in the band. It was our first tour. And so we're walking, diagonally to get to the stage. And then the announcer announces us way before we get to the stage, Here they are, the Beat Farmers. We're still walking across the club, going, what the hell? And then this table with 3 girls sitting in it. And one girl goes, Beat Farmers, big deal. And she is loudly, And people are kind of laughing, and they didn't really know us, and they're like giggling or whatever, And then she kept doing it, about 4 times before we got to the stage. Beat Farmers, big deal. And, Buddy, it was, always kind of anxious and a little bit pissed off kind of a dude. He's like going, oh, fuck, man. What we got ourselves into here, And I'm thinking, just be cool.
Y'all thinking you're in a redneck bar and you're about to get your ass whooped.
Yeah. So it got kind of like that, But this place had a big stage. It was about as high as this stage here. It was probably 4 feet high or something like that. And so we're up there and we're playing. And we play our first song. And people got finished clapping and, Beat Farmers, big deal. And we're going, oh, shit, And then meanwhile, these 2 big-ass dudes that look like they were the linemen for the college football team come up and get right in front of us. And they're standing in front of Buddy and me. And Buddy's looking at me going, get your guitar ready, man. We're going to have to use these as weapons, And these guys, are like looking at us, what punks, We could tell they didn't have good thoughts in their mind for us, And so he played another song, and after the people get finished clapping, Beat Farmers, big deal. We're going, fuck, And so finally it gets to be Dick's turn to go sing, and they had a cordless microphone, and he goes out there and he sits right on these girls' tables, and he's going, yeah, there are a bunch of cool people in this town, it's a pretty cool town. But she's like, oh yeah, tongue in cheek, and he goes, by the way, speaking of cool people, what's your name, honey? She goes, Karen. And he goes, who gives a fuck? And the whole place did exactly what you guys just did. Just laughed their asses off. And these girls get in this big huff, and they walk out the door. And then Dick goes, okay, he's still sitting on the table. He goes, yeah, we cleared the deadwood out of here. Let's party, And he jumps up and sings the song. Then he runs and jumps up in the bar. And it tells the bartender, give me that bottle of Jack Daniels. And he, yes, sir. He gives it to him. And he says, okay, kids, we're going to play Baby Bird. Anybody want to be fed? Everybody's landing up across the bar, and they're sticking their head. He's just pouring this Jack Daniels into everybody's faces. And then he gets back up on the stage. And these 2 beefy dudes are standing there, and he's starting to talk. He's up on the stage starting to talk, and one of them shakes up his bottle of beer and starts squirting in his face. And then just Dick out of nowhere just jumps off the stage with his legs spread and just lands on this guy's shoulders with his crotch right in this guy's face. Puts his legs up in the air as far as he can. This guy falls backwards. Dick just rides him all the way to the ground. And just boom, you know, and then the other guy's just kind of standing there going, what, you know? And the bouncers run up and grab the guy that Dick just rode to the floor, throw him out. The other guy's standing there, didn't know what to do. Dick jumps up on the stage. He goes, I need a pony to take me to the bar, and grabs the guy and turns around and jumps on his shoulders. Then the guy rides him, gives Dick a ride to the bar, and then his pal got kicked out of there, but he didn't care, man. He just stayed and he partied with us, you know. That's it.
Typical
that was
Big
our
Farmer
first trip
show.
to Des Moines.
That was, that happened to, that became a regular part of the show. Country Dick getting taken to the bar, drinking all the booze.
Yeah, of course.
Abusing everybody, and then coming back.
That's it.
So, Joey, tell us about when you joined the band.
Well, that's about the best story I've heard in a long time. that kind of explains everything about about Dan and the Beet Farmers. God. So when I joined the band, they were already pretty successful, of course, and I was suddenly touring across the United States. But Buddy had been about a foot shorter than me, and he had dark hair and a black goatee, and so I was the new guy, and I had blonde hair, like Peter Frampton blonde hair, and people were shouting out, "Where's Buddy?" Like they weren't happy. And so we did a few shows, and things were kind of going okay. Jerry and Raleigh were looking at me like, "Oh shit, we may have made a big mistake," And Dan said, "Well, Joey, what you got to do is really win these people over. You got to play that song that you used to play during the quiet moments with the Snuggle Bunnies, and that's Tom Waits' song Rosie." And I thought, you're out of your mind. You're out of your effing mind, because these people are rowdy, they're raucous, they're digging the rock band. They're not going to sit still for this beautiful little song, He said, "Trust me," right? Famous last words.
He always said that.
From Country Dick.
What.
You're going to end up with no money, no ride home when he says, "Trust me."
Yeah. 4 flat tires.
So the first time I tried it, and it fucking worked. I mean, it was amazing. It's like they got quiet. They really cheered afterwards, and for the rest of the gig, everything went much better, and we kept it in the show. After that, we recorded it later.
Now you got to sing that song, Joe.
Yeah.
Really?
Sing it.
Well, what are you guys going to do? Harmonize with
I'll
me?
harmonize with you. I'll sing like a bird.
I saw Tom Waits open for Frank Zappa, his whole huge band and everything. And Waits was an unknown, and he just sort of dragged out an electric piano out onto the stage. He didn't have a roadie or anything. And the crowd was booing him, and he sang the song, and it worked. I mean, it's almost like magic. It settles you down. If any of you feeling anxious right now, hopefully this song will help. Sitting on a windowsill, blowing my horn. Nobody's up except the moon and me, and a lazy old tomcat on a midnight spree. All that it left me was a melody. Rosie, why do you invade me? Rosie, how can I persuade thee? Rosie. Well, the moon's all up. Yeah, it's big and it's bright. The newspaper headlines cross an indigo sky. I've been loving you, Rosie, from the day I was born. Now, baby, I'll be loving you, Rosie, till the day I die. Rosie, why do you evade me? Rosie, how can I persuade thee? Rosie, Rosie, Rosie. That's pretty, Jerry Rainey.
That was pretty, Joey. That was pretty.
Damn, I almost had a feeling.
I know, I didn't know I was going to be crying today. What the fuck?
Mojo Nixon here with the Beat Farmers on the Outlaw Country Cruise. This will be playing on the radio later in about a month. The Beat Farmers will be performing on the cruise. When are y'all performing tonight? What time is that?
I don't know. Where's our schedule?
You don't know.
Well, we're gonna.
I bet the drummer knows. When are y'all performing?
I think 9 o'clock in the atrium.
9. See, there you go. And if you survive that, me and the Toad Lickers are playing at midnight.
All right, yeah.
If you're easily offended, don't fucking come.
When's the night? We're actually. They actually put us on the pool deck tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, like 9 o'clock, 9:30 or something on the pool deck. So,
Yeah, when it's raining.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
It's raining.
Is it going to rain?
I don't know.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter. It's going to be warm rain.
I love that stage.
So I hate to ask this question, but what did the record company think of y'all? Y'all got you had the first album was on Rhino, and then you got signed to Curb MCA, and you were making good records. You made but what do they know what to do with you?
No, they didn't know it. Well, what was funny is they really wanted us badly. We were on Rhino Records, and they were great. They were a cool little record label. But then our management decided that you need to get in on a larger label, and there was Curb Records that would, as far as country music, they had 6 out of the top 10 number 1 songs of the year, and they wanted a rock and roll band. At least they said they wanted a rock and roll band, and so anyway, we ended up getting signing with them. It was a pretty lucrative contract and everything, but in those days you don't realize that it's basically a loan. You end up owing the record label money, if they don't sell enough records.
Right. They give you $100,000 to make the record, and you got to make $300,000 back before you're zero. I think that's called loan sharking.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But and basically, after we did our first album with them, they started trying to change us. It's like, and I was just thinking, well, why? We were working our way up really well, just with the way we were, and now you want, they were turning songs into us, like going, here you should do this, She was born beautiful, and do. So
they really wanted us to stop having any Country Dick songs.
Yeah, really, that was happening. They said, well, can't he just do one song an album or something, and which went over well with him,
Well, and that song of Joey's, "Make It Last," did they try to get that to country stations? Or?
Yeah, we'd heard that it was. I've actually got a 45 vinyl rendition of the song that they printed up. Never told us anything about it. We were on the road coming across the United States, headed toward Nashville, as it turns out, and it started charting on the country western stations, which was, we heard afterwards. Which is pretty exciting, but by the time we got to Nashville, we were, a little surly and drunk and sore, and I think we probably said one rude thing or another to a radio person or something, and it immediately fell off the charts.
Well, that was back, really at that time, there was such a thing as being too rock and roll for country.
Right.
Well,
and too country for rock and roll, and we were kind of both of them.
You know where you need a home, maybe a place called Outlaw Country.
Yeah.
There you go, yeah.
You tee them up, I'll knock them out.
Yeah, that's right. Good going, Mojo.
Yeah, anyway, Curb Records ended up not knowing what to do with us, and especially since we had 3 singers. And it's like they brought that up a number of times, like, well, these other bands, they have like the Rolling Stones had Mick Jagger, and I'm going, yeah, but the Beatles had 4 fucking singers.
What about the Beatles?
Yeah, but they did. Their brains didn't work that way, or maybe their brains didn't work. I don't know. Maybe they didn't have brains.
I don't know if you remember this, but there's a clause.
No, you got to talk into the microphone.
That new contract.
Oh yeah, no.
So.
Oh yeah, we can't say anything
You're
bad
not
about
supposed to say anything bad about
Never
the record
mind.
company.
Never mind.
This is being aired when?
What? Who said what? I didn't hear nothing. Shoot, I thought I was deaf till y'all got here.
Yeah, that's right.
So Country Dick was a legendary character, bigger than life character, and I thought we might just tell some stories about Country Dick. I'm gonna call this segment "Country Dick Once," and Country Dick once did something crazy, wild, outrageous. I'm gonna start it out with 3 examples, and then y'all can jump in. Country Dick once promised 10 people 20% of the profit. Me and Country Dick once got so high we thought we wrote a song.
Yeah.
And Country Dick, people want to have rock and roll weddings, and they want Country Dick to perform the ceremony. And I think it was a couple out in Arizona. Country Dick went out there, performed the ceremony, played with the band, got drunk, everybody went all crazy. When it came time for the wedding night, the groom was passed out. Country Dick consummated the wedding. The floor is yours.
Well, Country Dick used to, you all know, earlier he came to my house all through high school because he loved my dad. My dad loved him, my mom too. And he would always be complaining about school. And my dad was an English teacher, union organizer for, education. And he said, you kids complain an awful lot in the living room here. Why don't you do something about it? And Dan goes, well, what can I do about it? I'm just a student. Why don't you run for office, and become part of your school's, the people that run the thing, the ASB president. So Dan did run for vice president. I was his campaign chairman. Woo! And he actually won. He only lasted in the job for about 3 months because he gave a speech in the quad. It was a homecoming week, and he said the word pissed off, and so he got kicked out of school. They made him quit, resign, and I come home from school, and he's sitting in my bedroom. I go, what are you doing here? And he goes, they kicked me out of school. And I'm too afraid to go home. So anyways, he won. So for like 3 months.
He was the guy that hired my old band. Yeah. Glory, we were kind of like the Rolling Stones back in those days, and he hired us to play one of the dances at Grossmont High when he was vice president. And we played.
And got him kicked out.
We smoked pot in the parking lot, and we drank beer in the parking lot.
And you were allowed.
Of the high school, and we were allowed, and we got banned from the Grossmont Union School District.
Yeah. That was another achievement of his, right?
You got one, Raleigh?
No, they're all way too X-rated.
I know some of them are triple X-rated, but just give me a hard R.
I've got one that, with my memory, it may not be true at all. But he once I hear a story, it can get bigger. But while he was playing in rock bands and things, he had his own record store for a while. Suddenly I'm speaking in a southern dialect because I'm sitting next to Mojo. But he was a manager of a 7-Eleven. This is true, isn't it, Joel?
Yeah, he was pretty poor. He used to eat the food off the shelves, and he always had at his apartment, he had all the boxes, and I was going to throw them away one day, and he goes, don't do that. I go, why? He goes, because at the end of when they're checking stock, he'd put the empty boxes back on. Literally, he did that, yeah.
So he was he was always an organizer. He put together a whole music scene in San Diego. But while he was manager of a set, and I had heard also that he would get fired from one and rehired or hired in another one and continue the process. Well, the deal was that after all the parties had shut down, people would come to his 7-Eleven and they would continue the party in the cooler until his shift ended at 6 in the morning. And then everybody would split, hopefully, or else maybe somebody passed out in there. That's kind of my favorite story. That's how underhanded he was.
I remember at one point when he had the record store, he told me he was bemoaning how poor he was, and I think his wife had kicked him out, and he was sleeping at the record store, and he didn't have a bathroom there. All he had was a toilet. He didn't have a tub, so he would go in the neighbor's yard in the middle of the night and hose himself down buck naked.
I tried to talk him out of opening that record store because, this is about 1976, 77. We'd go up to the Capitol Records in the parking lot.
Swap meet.
And you could get really good records back then, like frickin' Buddy Holly records, original for like, $1. So we collected records for a couple of years, and we both had a pretty good record collection. And one day Dan goes, I'm going to start a record store. And I go, what are you going to sell? He goes, look at all the records I got. Never once thinking that once those were gone, you had to restock, right? So he opened the record store. One of our competitors, this guy, was called Blue Meanie Records, and he'd been around for a long time, just pretty much sent some friends of his in there to buy all of Dan's records.
All the good stuff, right?
And so he was just left with kind of the dregs, and so he would be like trying to, you got any records you can give me, and all that. I'm like, no, didn't you know this was going to happen? People were going to buy your records,
Then you don't have any, right?
When I first moved to San Diego, I'd seen the Penetrators, and shortly thereafter, I'd seen the Snuggle Bunnies. And somebody, it might have been at a Country Dick always had these little magazines, fanzines, booklets.
Yeah.
I think it was called, this was before the
Snare.
Beat Farmer, it's called Snare.
And
New
Hobogue
Hippie.
and New Hippie.
Yeah, New Hippie was
right.
one.
Well, so anyway, Snare.
He would hand draw these things, and he made up bands that he interviewed. And I think there was only ever one sponsor.
He interviewed me once for the thing. And for the Hitmakers. It was the band I quit the Penetrators.
That was a real band that he actually interviewed.
Well, so I was kind of young, and I didn't know much about San Diego. And in the back is an ad for Rock and Roll Heaven, the greatest record store in San Diego. And it's in Chula Vista. Where it is, that must be close to Mexico or something. I drive down there. And I'm only in like some industrial park, and I'm looking around, and then I'm looking around at these buildings, and I'm looking at the address, and I'm going, that motherfucker. Yeah, this whole thing is made up.
Yeah.
I've been had. Right. There was a lot of that with Country Dick.
Can I tell another one?
Sure.
All right, Country Dick and the Snuggle Bunnies. He showed everybody what a performer he was. I mean, he was not afraid to really hurt himself, So he would get up on these tables, and he was big, and they would rickety, back and forth and snap off all the time. And one time we were playing at the Spirit Club, and the table collapsed, and he landed on apparently some broken glass, and got back up on his drum set, and we started the next song. I turn around and I look at him, and this blood starts to flow down from his neck all over his shirt. Well, and so we had to run him to the hospital. But I remember saying to him, and he would show me these bruises that he got on his knees and his thighs and everything from falling down on tables and stuff. And I said, you ought to try and wear knee pads or something. And he said, well, wouldn't that be kind of phony?
But Country Dick was
he would throw himself on the floor.
Right, Country Dick was like the guy that stuck his head in the mouth of the lion. He was doing something really hard, but he made it look like it was so much harder. Right, Country Dick put on a show. Right, nobody walked away going, that was boring. I wasn't entertained. They might have walked away going, what the fuck was that? But
he would do a somersault across the stage and then jump up on his feet. Like nothing. It was like a ballerina.
So we used to play this place called the Bacchanal in San Diego, too. It's a big place. Held like 750 people. They really brought in a lot of great acts. And at one point, my wife Marilee and I wanted to go see Steve Earle, who was coming to town. And he was playing there, and it was the Copperhead Road Tour. And which I got to say, that was the best stringed instrument sound I've ever heard come off a stage in my entire life. He had the guitar tech was the busiest person in the world, you know, and they just had so many different bitchin' guitars, and it just sounded great. And they started out with Copperhead Road, and it was just a great thing. But anyway, Country Dick, Marilee, and I are sitting in the back with a biker gang called the Silver Eagles. They're big fans, you know. So we're all back there partying like crazy, and I knew that, you know, Dick really liked what's the name of the song? That's "Fearless Heart" that you know, Steve Earle had written. And so they started going. I reached over to hit Dick. Oh, they're starting "Fearless Heart," and he wasn't there, you know. And all of a sudden, unannounced on the side of the stage, Dick had snuck up there, and Steve Earle starting the song, and Dick does a forward somersault with his, you know, thing, his big duster on, you know, and he's holding a beer, and the beer like does this whirligig thing in the air, you know, and then all of a sudden he jumps up and grabs the microphone next to Steve Earle. He's just surprised. And I was going, well, I guess they don't have any security on the side of the stage. And all of a sudden he just grabs the microphone and starts singing, and Steve Earle just goes, "Oh, Country Dick Montana," ladies and gentlemen. You know? But it was quite the entrance, you know. It was like,
and he hadn't talked to Steve Earle about this before. No, that's the
nobody knew
key
he was
part.
going to do this. You
Steve
know?
knew who he was. He did?
No, Steve Earle knew him, but, you know. But it was just like, it was funny because I was like, "Hey, Dick," oh, he's gone. And then all of a sudden, oh, there he is. And it was he made a big mess for Steve Earle's stage. It was cool. And all those, you know, all those classic guitars are all getting soaked, you know.
So I think we got time for one more song, and we're going to need the audience to sing along. And if you don't sing along, I'm coming out there.
Wait a minute.
You need a pick?
No. I need a kazoo.
Oh, you brought the kazoo. Hey, let me hold that. There, I got it.
Y'all got to join in. You know what to do, right?
All right. So, yeah, when they say "Happy Boy," you say "Happy Boy."
Ready, Gerald?
I don't know. Wait a minute.
Walking down the street on a sunny day. I got a feeling in the bones, gonna have my way. Hubba, 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 hubba. Well, I'm a happy boy. Happy boy. I'm a happy boy. Happy boy. Well, ain't it good when things are going your way? Hey, hey. My little dog Spot got hit by a car. I put his butt in the box and I stuck him in the door. Hubba, 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 hubba. 'Cause I'm a happy boy. Get it? Happy boy. I'm a happy boy. Happy boy. Well, ain't it good when things are going your way? Hey, hey. Don't choke. Hubba, 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 hubba. Yeah, I looked in the door and I started to laugh. Hubba, 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 hubba. 'Cause I'm a happy boy. Get it? Happy boy. I'm a happy boy. Happy boy. Well, ain't it good when things are going your way? Hey, hey. Oh, ba, ba, ba. Hubba, 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 hubba.
Well, let's hear it for the Beat Farmers. Woo! Jerry Rainey.
Hey.
Raleigh Love. Joey Harris, Joel Kamak.
Thank you, Mojo Nixon.
Thanks, Mojo. Thank you, Mojo. I'm Mojo Nixon. This is Sirius XM. Outlaw Country.
Real serious.
I hate my job, I work too hard, my dog died yesterday. My son's a punk, he shoots up junk, and I just found out I'm gay. I come home to a friggin' zoo, but it don't get me uptight. 'Cause I live on a lakeside trailer park, and everything's gonna be alright. My doctor bills and legal ills, my wife's a fat old whore. My TV's broke, my life's a joke, and a sheriff moved next door. I don't frown, don't get me down. I got something good to say. 'Cause I live on a lakeside trailer park and everything's gonna be okay. It's so serene, white and clean. So safe in here I can spend all year in my lovely aluminum house. So nice. My butt, now I'm in a rut, but I earned everything that I own. From my AstroTurf to my video smurf to my cordless telephone. You ask me, was it worth it all? I say yes with all my might. 'Cause I live in a lakeside trailer park and everything's gonna be alright.
This is Outlaw Country.
Only on Sirius XM.